Hi guys, today for phonics we're going to be working on a new sound. Let's first look at this picture. What is this picture a picture of? It's a book. Let's segment the sounds in book. B, k, book. What sound do you hear in the middle of book? If you said you are right. In the word book, the middle sound is and it's spelled O. So today when we blend these words, when we see that O together, we're going to say Let's blend these words. Here we go. St, stood, k, cook, g, good, b, k, book, look, look. Let's read the whole list. Stood, cook, good, book, look. Nice job. Now let's read some sentences that have those sounds. Remember, the first time you read with me if you want, or you can just follow. The second time you read with me more smoothly. We work on our fluency. And then that third time, I want you to read to me. Here we go. Get your finger or your pointer ready. Dad stood at our stove to cook dinner. All right, let's read it more smoothly. Dad stood at our stove to cook dinner. Your turn. Ready? Go. Good job. Number 2. That is a good book. More smoothly. That is a good book. Your turn. Ready? Go. Good work. Number 3. Look at that car. What is this punctuation mark called at the end of this sentence? If you said exclamation point, you're right. Do you remember what an exclamation point does or what it means? Why do we put that in a sentence? We usually have an exclamation point in a sentence to show strong feelings or strong emotions. So it looks like in this sentence that maybe we're excited. So when we read, let's make our voice sound excited. Let's read it the second time a little more smoothly and with excitement. Look at that car. Your turn. Let's hear some excited reading. Here we go. Good job. All right, so today we only have 4 sight words. Let's read them. This first one is among, instead, another, none. Remember, we're going to body spell these words. If it's a word whose letter goes to that top line when we write it, those tall letters, we reach our hands high up in the sky when we say that letter's name. If it's a letter that stays in the middle space when we write it, we put our hands on our hips when we say that letter's name. And if it's a letter whose tail goes down into the basement, when we say that letter's name, we touch the floor. So stand up and let's spell these words. Are you ready? We're going to spell them with our body and with our voice. Our first word is among. A-M-O-N-G. Among. Instead. I-N-S-T-E-A-D. Instead. Another. A-N-O-T-H-E-R. Another. None. N-O-N-E. None. Good job. Now let's read some sentences. Here we go. We found 5 books among those toys. Let's try to read it a little smoother. We found 5 books among those toys. Your turn. Read to me, please. Ready? Go. Nice. Number 2. He made his house from brick instead of wood. Let's read it more smoothly. Here we go. He made his house from brick instead of wood. Your turn. Go. Excellent. Number 3. Read with me, please. None of those kids took another look. With me, please. Let's try to be even smoother. None of those kids took another look. Your turn. Ready? Go. All right. Let's turn the page. And here we go. Here's our other phonics skill that we're going to work on this week. And it's called adding endings. So first of all, what's this picture over here a picture of? If you said raced, you are right. Here's the word raced. Let's segment the sounds in raced. R, A, S, D. Raced. Now, what sound do you hear at the end of raced? I hear a T. Even though it's spelled with an ED, we've been learning this year that ED has 3 different sounds at the end. And this week, we're going to be focusing on the T sound. So when you see that ED today, those words are going to have the T sound at the end. Who remembers what an ED ending means? When did something happen if it has an ED ending? Did it already happen? Is it happening now? Or is it going to happen? Usually with an ED ending, it already happened. It happened in the past. Okay. Let's look at this next picture. What is the person in this picture doing? It looks like they are baking. Here's the word baking. Let's segment the sounds in the word baking. B, A, K, ing. Baking. And you can see that ending sound is ing, and ing is spelled with ing. So I'm going to ask you this question. When you have an ing at the end of a word, did it already happen? Is it happening now? Or is it going to happen? Often with an ing, it's either going to happen, like I will be baking later today, or sometimes with ing, it's happening now. I have some bread baking in the oven. So ed is usually for already happened, and ing is usually for happening now or going to happen. So let's remember those sounds and blend some of these words. Okay, here we go. Ch, A. How do we know that this A says its name? If you're being a good detective as you read, you can see that this E is telling that A, say your name. All right, here we go. Let's start over. Ch, A, S, as, chases. J, O, K, T, joked. Hiked. Aching. Making. Hiding. Hiding. Let's read the list. Chases, joked, hiked, making, hiding. All right, let's read our sentences. Here we go. My cat chases her tail. Smoother. My cat chases her tail. Your turn. Go. Thank you. Here's number 2. Ben joked with his twin as they hiked. Let's try that again. Ben joked with his twin as they hiked. Your turn. Ready? Go. All right. Number 3. I will be making Kathy a card and hiding it until her birthday. It's a long sentence. Let's try that again. I will be making Kathy a card and hiding it until her birthday. You read it to me. Ready? Go. All right. So here is our fluency story, and we always read these sight words at the bottom first to make sure that we know what they are. So we have among, instead, another, and none. So the first time you follow along, you can read with me if you want to, but make sure you're following. The second time, I need you to read with me. And then for the third time, I will put it on Seesaw and you can practice and then record yourself reading it to me. Okay, here we go. Andy and Luke liked trading with one another. Among the things those kids traded were games, books, and skates. Andy had good games, but he liked Luke's instead. None of Luke's books pleased him as much as Andy's. Their mom took one look at all those trades and said, "That's enough." All right, before we read it together, I want to show you a couple of things. I noticed in this first paragraph, there's a list of things and they're separated by commas. When we see commas, we should take a little breath. We don't just rush through and say games, books, and skates. Games, books, and skates. Okay, so you can tell that they're separate things by those commas. We pause at a comma. Also, please make sure that when you see a period, that you're making sure that it sounds like the end of a sentence and not just reading. With one another among the things. Remember, we don't read like a robot. We read with expression. So make sure you're paying attention to those punctuation marks. And at the end, those moms have an exclamation point in what they say. I think that maybe they're frustrated. So they say, "That's enough." Make sure when you're reading that you're reading with expression. Okay, here we go. Let's read together. Andy and Luke liked trading with one another. Among the things those kids traded were games, books, and skates. Andy had good games, but he liked Luke's instead. None of Luke's books pleased him as much as Andy's. Their moms took one look at all those trades and said, "That's enough." All right. I am going to post this story on Seesaw so you can go back and practice and then read it to me. I would like to hear lots of expression and see you pausing for those commas, okay? Thanks for learning phonics with me.